In just 6 months, you will select Minnesota's next governor. And a big name on the Republican side is dropping out of the race. Representative Kristin Robbins announced this morning she's ending her campaign because of fundraising challenges. Gordon talked to her more about why she made this announcement and how it could affect the entire governor's race moving forward.
I just don't see, the viable path forward.
When the race for governor first started, Kristin Robbins had plenty of momentum. As the chair of the Minnesota House Fraud Committee, she presented herself as the face of the Republican crackdown on fraud.
I very clearly made the case that Tim Walz should not get a third term, and I think we were successful in that.
But when Governor Walz dropped out of the race, Robbins says everything changed.
In your announcement, you mentioned Senator Klobuchar. How much did her entering the race affect your decision?
I certainly know it changed the race.
Not only did the messaging and strategy change, she also noticed a big change in fundraising.
Initially when Tim Walz was the candidate, it was very strong and there was a lot of support. There was, people were ready for a change. I still think people are ready for a change, but it definitely became more difficult when Senator Klobuchar became the candidate.
Running for governor is hard.
Brian McClung knows this better than most. He's a Republican strategist who worked for Governor Tim Pawlenty.
When Amy Klobuchar entered the governor's race, it fundamentally altered the outlook. That's a reality of the race. Now, that's not to say that Amy Klobuchar, can measure the drapes right now. I think Minnesota has shown that this is a competitive state.
With a dead even tie in the Minnesota House and a tie in Congress with 4 Republicans and 4 Democrats, McClung expects a tight race for governor once a clear candidate emerges for Republicans.
Well, I think Republicans are going to focus on fraud, fraud, fraud. This state government has seen embarrassing levels, potentially $9 billion in fraud. And so the question for Minnesota voters is going to be, do you replace one Democrat with another and hope it gets better? Or do you need to bring in a whole new team?
On the Republican side, 3 names remain: House Speaker Lisa Demuth, businessman Kendall Qualls, and MyPillow CEO Mike Lindell. In a post on the social media platform X, Demuth praised Robbins, calling her a tremendous leader in the fight against fraud. But as of right now, Robbins says she is not ready to endorse another candidate in the race.
I think there is certainly an appetite for change this election, and I wish them all well.
Gordon Severson, KARE 11 News.
It'll be an interesting race. As I said, it's just 6 months away. I'll be right back.